Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, he's wearing the white trunks with red trim and weighs in at 227 1/2 pounds from Cleveland, Ohio. As a professional, he's got 16 victories, 7 by KO against 12 defeats and 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, Harry Terrell. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with stars and stripes trim, he weighs an even 215 pounds from Kansas City. Undefeated as a professional, 17 consecutive victories, 15 by KO. Introducing Tommy the Duke Morrison.
The mandatory 8 count is in effect. If you fall 3 times in 1 round, the fight's over. The bell does not save you. Let's shake hands. Come on, fighting.
Well, quite a disparity in age here. Tommy Morrison at 20 years young, and his opponent Harry Terrell tonight, 38. Terrell with only 6 fights in the last 9 years. Took 4 years off between 82 and 86 because of necessary surgery 3 times on his right hand. He is described as a elusive boxer, wants to stick and run against the powerful Morrison.
And I'll tell you, this is a ring tonight that doesn't lend itself to that, Pete. It's a very small ring. I don't think any more than 20 feet, if that. Maybe 18 on the inside. So if you're going to try and box and move, it will not help you.
Well, in talking with Morrison beforehand, he of the big left hook, something to watch for, he said he's never fought anybody like that would stick and run and give him trouble like that. A good right hand by Morrison, and he kind of welcomes the opportunity. It's experience, he says.
Well, Harry will not be all that quick and that fast, but
yes.
he will try and give him some lateral movement and give him some cute moves. Obviously, he's a veteran. He's been around. He's fought. I mentioned that he had fought the best in the heavyweight division. As you move down it, it's the Mike Weavers of the world and all the rest. So he's been in with heavyweights of several eras.
We should expand more on Tommy Morrison, the movie star, just within the last couple of weeks as he bowls his way to the attack. He took a screen test and has been cast as Rocky's protege, or Sylvester Stallone's protege, in upcoming Rocky V. They're excited about that, and he will actually be filmed next Thursday in his bout at Kemper Arena in Kansas City against Charles Hostetler.
Interesting, talk about life imitating art.
Yes, absolutely. The young protege, and here he is in real life, and he lands a left and has his opponent protecting himself for trying to against the ropes.
And this is where Harry Terrell does not want to be. Now there's the uppercut from Morrison. This young man has improved his arsenal of punches since we first saw him dramatically. You see him using the jab a little bit more.
There's a left hook, and down goes Terrell.
An excellent counter left hook from Morrison. That shows you the improvement of this young man.
That is his big weapon, and Terrell trying to shake it off. Here we go.
Harry Terrell, a veteran, holding on now.
3 knockdown rule in effect. Terrell trying to survive this first round. He's got 43 seconds to do it.
Again, Morrison looking for the uppercut. He used it effectively earlier.
Missed with the right hand. Just missed.
Well, Harry Terrell said, I didn't come here to lay down. I came here to fight. And he is fighting, but he's also getting blocked by that Morrison left hand. But you know what? Harry Terrell has reddened the nose of Morrison. He's landing some punches, but he just is absorbing too many power shots from Morrison.
Well, those 38 years may come into play in a hurry at 227 pounds here. Oh, big right hand! If he gets up, I'll be the most surprised person in the Coliseum.
This fight should be over. Hal Munoz should stop this fight. He
got to his feet, but he stopped the fight. Another first-round knockout for Tommy the Duke Morrison.
And this time it came as a result of the overhand right by Morrison. And that's what we've been talking about, is the fact that this young man continues, he's excited, this crowd, as you can see, continues to improve every fight and show us different punches in his arsenal. Well, no one was going to mistake Harry Terrell for a top contender, but he trained hard for this fight and felt that he could do a little bit better.
Well, one of the features we have here on ESPN is our punch counter. And with that right hand by Tommy Morrison, Harry Terrell almost became a part of our punch counter.
He fell right into the punch profile computers of Bob Kenobi and Logan Hobson. We almost had to count them out. We will see the first knockdown. Good short left hand by Morrison. And there's a good example of how he shortened up that left hook. And here is the final knockdown. Overhand right. There it is. He heads through the ropes, smashes the computer, and luckily does not get injured. From yet another angle, it will look just as bad for Harry Terrell. And you know, the thing is, that wild overhand right, and you can see down in the lower part of the corner, Logan Hobson of Punch Profile trying to help Harry Terrell.
All right, let's go for the official word as Tommy Morrison looking up at two jumbo TV monitors here that you've heard the crowd reacting to. Let's go up to Michael Buffer for the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Al Munoz reaches the count of 10 at 2 minutes, 59 seconds of the very first round. The 11th time this gentleman has had a first round KO. His record now 18-0, 16 KOs. The winner, Tommy the Duke Morrison.
Tommy the Duke Morrison using all of the first round but getting the job done. We'll be back to talk with him when we come back.
Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the gold trunks with white trim. He weighs an even 219 pounds from Douglasville, Pennsylvania. His professional record, 12 victories, 12 KOs against 5 defeats and 1 draw. Introducing Mike AC. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with stars and bars trim. He weighs an even 223 pounds, fighting out of Kansas City. Undefeated as a professional with 23 consecutive victories, 19 by KO. Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy the Duke Morrison.
Okay, John, you're the chief second. Okay, you guys are responsible for your corner's actions. I gave both of you your instructions in the dressing room. I want to reiterate 3 things. I want no hitting while the man's down, no hitting on the break, no intentional hitting after the bell. Give me a good, clean fight inside. Good luck to both of you.
So look at Tommy Morrison, and Morrison, I'm sure, will take Mike AC very seriously. And Mike AC, if he's not taking Tommy Morrison very seriously, might want to consider it. I don't often say this, but in this particular case, I don't think I'd go too far with that robe.
No. Yeah, it could be back again. Mike AC, you know, unable to really train like he wanted for this fight. Took it on about 2 weeks' notice. Maybe only had a week and a half to train anyway. I think it's obvious he's not in tip-top condition.
Knockout ratio of these two, and AC in 18 fights, knocking out 2 out of every 3 opponents. There's a left hand by Morrison. Drove AC backward.
And if, for those of you that have seen Tommy Morrison fight in the ESPN, he has a wicked left hook. And he's a good body puncher. You see him doing that. He is scheduled to fight James Quick Tillis on January 11th, and that card we were talking about. So this is literally a tune-up for him, and they didn't exactly give him a world-class contender.
I know. Nice guy, Mike AC, but overmatched.
Yeah, we'll see.
Down to one knee from a right hand.
5, 6, 7. Hey, give me a go. Give me a go.
Way to go in this round.
Do not go get a snap. Or you should, whichever.
That's true. Well, AC will go out fighting anyway.
Well, Mike Ace's throwing lots of punches. He's not laying down. He's landing. Oh, my. That should be it.
That was a left hand.
There is a 3 knockdown rule.
4, 5, 6, 7.
A little cut along alongside the right eye of Morrison, actually. I think it's a cut.
One more and it's over. And I'd be, if I was a betting man, I'd say yes. And there it goes.
So much for that. Target practice.
Stay up here. Stay up here. That's all right.
For Tommy Morrison. Now, the only real question, remember, he did cut that one time, and there is a little bit of red. I'm not sure, again, if that's a cut or Doesn't appear to be now that I look at it a little bit closer, but one scare card for Tommy Morrison.
Well, obviously not too much of a chance. You've seen him before here in ESPN, and some early knockouts, but also some fights that went a little bit longer. The one thing, it's such a short fight, but the one thing you can say, and it's been happening, was happening before the layoff to Rocky and happened in his last fight. Tommy Morrison has shortened up his punches again and is throwing good short punches. Let's take a look at it. There's a nice, good right hand. It's the first knockdown. Wasn't thrown as a looping right hand. It was over a lazy jab. We'll see the second knockdown. This, I believe, is a left hook. Let's just see, nice, compact, short left hook. Kind of an arm punch, but still very powerful, and certainly enough to send Mike Acey down. And
Morrison threw 15 punches, landed 10, and had 3 knockdowns.
That's fair.
It's not bad.
Good. Pretty good. It's kind of like getting in a World Series and being 8 for 10 with a couple of homers. Huh?
Yeah, that's exactly. Officially now with Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Toby Gibson, following the rules of the 3 knockdown rule, stops the bout at 1 minute. 35 seconds of the very first round. The winner by TKO. He's now 24-0 with 20 KOs. Tommy the Duke Morrison. He weighs 226.5 pounds from Martinville, Virginia. As a professional, his record, 38 victories, 17 defeats and 1 draw, 29 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, the fighting cowboy, James Quick Tillis. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with stars and stripes trim, he weighs 227.5 pounds. Fighting out of Kansas City, undefeated as a professional with a record of 24-0, 20 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy the Duke Morrison.
All right, gentlemen, the rules were given to you both earlier. I want a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Shake hands. Good luck to both of you.
And a look at James Quick Tillis. And he best hope that he is. Sheen stomach, actually.
Such a cynic.
And we are set to go. And I think Tommy Morrison will be all business here. And once again, this is quite a showcase for these young heavyweights. And I think all of them that we see tonight will not only try to win, but try to win in impressive fashion. I think they all feel they need to do that.
These days, you're fighting as a marketer more than anything else in the heavyweight division. You got to make sure you are marketable. If you have not seen Tommy Morrison before, he's a young man that has a tremendous left hook. It's gotten better and better as he's moved ahead in the pro, and there you see it again to the body of Tillis. It's probably his big knockout weapon.
Morrison able to work the body very well. Still trying to really to get himself back in, but good left hand, down goes Tillis.
I guess he does have a good left hook.
5, 6, 7. Tillis shakes his head, says, I'm not sure I want a lot more of this. Doesn't appear to be hurt.
Right, I think he's shocked that he got nailed with that punch.
And a right hand gets there also. And incidentally, that was set up by a body shot. Another left hand. Tillis is in trouble.
And this is a very small ring. There is nowhere for Tillis to go. It's about an 18-foot ring. Boy, Tommy Morrison has come out blazing.
And a good combination again by Morrison. A left and a right behind it. An uppercut, and down goes Tillis. Very impressive. 3, 4, 5, 6. And Tillis is still in a heap of trouble. And as you see, still halfway to go in the first round. Ain't going to take much, folks. Another left hand. I'll tell you what I like about Morrison here tonight is that he's been very patient.
His accuracy is amazing with his punches. This is a very good effort by Morrison, even if we're wondering if Tillis is... Well, there it is.
That's it. And that's it, 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Or a minute and 52 seconds. My addition's never been very good.
But we get the point.
Yes.
They wanted that. James Quick Tillis, you know, he is a trial horse. This may spell the total end of him even as a journeyman. But for this young man, he did something that not many people have done, and that's whack Tillis out right away. And this was a Tillis who came here in pretty decent shape. So you didn't expect him to go that early, to be sure.
And I think in this case you have to look at Tommy Morrison and not at the opponent, because we've seen him fight some guys who aren't even of Tillis's caliber, and he was more impressive tonight. I thought the way he used his punching and set up his big punches was very, very impressive tonight.
And what he showed here is that he could get a guy out who, I mean, it took Frank Bruno 5 rounds, Mike Williams 9, Johnny Deploy 10. So a lot of people have not been able to knock Jim's Quick Tillis out so quickly. And
we're going to get another chance to look at him here.
There were 3 of these little knockdowns here in the first round. And the first one came courtesy of a very good left hook. He just didn't want to make me a liar when I said his left hook was so good. And there it is, sending James Tillis down. At this point, I don't think Tillis was as hurt as he would be now. Here's the second knockdown. And Morrison crunching him with the left hand and the straight right again. And the accuracy of the punches, there you see the uppercut, a good example. And there would be a third one. There would be a third knockdown, which would invoke the 3 knockdown rule. Morrison pursuing, and as you said, Barry, being very meticulous with his punches and economical as well. And that left hook did the job. And the 3 knockdown rule ended this bout, and for Tommy Morrison, a superb win.
Well, it really was. Morrison only threw 32 punches in the fight and landed with 20 of them. And I'll tell you, about 10 of those 20 really counted. It was big time. Let's make it official now with Michael Buffer. Mike?
Referee Joe Cortez enforces the 3 knockdown rule. The official time, 1 minute, 51 seconds of the very first round. The winner by TKO, still undefeated now, 25-0, 21 KO, Tommy the Duke Morrison. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He's wearing the red trunks and weighs an even 209 pounds. His professional record, 10 victories with 6 KOs, only 1 defeat. He's originally from the USSR, now fighting out of Yonkers in New York. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Yuri Vaulin. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with red, white, and blue trim. He weighs an even 223 pounds, undefeated with a record of 26-0, 22 KOs. From Kansas City, ladies and gentlemen, he's one of the top-ranked heavyweights in the world today, Tommy the Duke Morrison.
No, hey, yo. He comes out. He comes out. You got an interpreter? Let him come out. All right, you want to come out? Come out. You were given, good. You were given your instructions at the weigh-in. Obey my commands at all times. Obey the bell at all times. And protect yourself at all times. They'll touch him up, but we don't go touch him. Very good. Let's roll.
Joe, Vaulin's one of several Soviet fighters that was brought over by Lou Falsino. Is there a common thread that runs among them?
Well, actually, he's one of the few of the Soviet fighters that are still around. They sent a couple of them back. I think they kept one of them, and I wouldn't even dare to pronounce his name right now, but it's a lot harder than Vaulin.
And Vaulin bounced right into the ring. This has been set up as one of those Rocky IV versus Rocky V fights.
A few of the Soviet fighters had a hard time adapting to the American pro style. You know, they have so many fights over there. They get in a groove to fight one way, and it's almost impossible to break into that habit. And that's what Tommy Gallagher said he was having a problem with Vaulin.
Morrison just trying to check him out, see what he could do.
Well, Vaulin's moving the way that Tommy Gallagher didn't want him to move, and that's to his right. He wanted Vaulin to move to his left, to stay away from that big left hook of Morrison's.
And Morrison slipped down. Referee Steve Smoger. Opening round is scheduled for 10. Crowd reacts to Morrison's aggressiveness.
Bowlen took that shot real well. It hit him on top of the head, but it still landed very solidly and didn't seem to affect him in the least.
Morrison had told us you see him dipping down. He wants to work the body a bit, but hasn't done it yet. And Morrison doing some damage with both hands. Roundhouse right glances off the head of Bowlen.
Tommy Gallagher, Bowlen's trainer, told me he wants him nowhere near those ropes. He's got to stay in the center of that ring and use that jab. And as a matter of fact, he's got a beautiful jab. It comes out straight, comes out fast and hard. But he hasn't done much other than throw that jab. Bowlen hasn't. You hear Gallagher screaming for him to throw that left hand. He thinks that Morrison's open for it, and Bowlen isn't responding.
And the final seconds of this first round of the heavyweight fight. Tommy Morrison and Yuri Baulen from Latvia.
Hand, but it was a nicely fought round for Baulen.
Round two.
Well, the CompuBomb stat on the jab thrown in round one was 33% landed by Baulen and 17% landed by Morrison. Of course, he only threw 12 jabs. And there goes that left hand that they were asking for, and he's landing it.
Baulen getting some punches in there.
Morrison headhunting again. He should be hitting that body at every opportunity.
Morrison swinging and hitting air.
Well, this kid's an elusive target, this Baulen, and his head, he leans back, he's tall, he should be hitting that body. It's the closest thing to him.
Morrison landing a right. Big roar through the crowd moments ago with the arrival of Muhammad Ali at ringside.
Another straight, hard left jab or right jab landed by Baulen. Morrison's starting to look puffy already, and it's only been a round and a half.
Well, they said they expected the fight to be difficult, that Baulen was awkward. They wanted to get Morrison some rounds. But they had already looked ahead and tried to book Ray Mercer for August.
They might have been putting the
left for Morrison.
Putting the cart ahead of the horse. From this point of view right now, Baulen's not doing too badly. He's holding his own right now. A lot of people thought this fight was going to end real early.
Work out of it, work out of it. No, break, don't worry.
Keep moving, keep moving.
Little blood around the mouth of Morrison.
Well, he's taken several jabs right off the chin, and that opened him up rather early.
Hands up, hands up.
He's certainly in a dogfight here against the Russian fighter.
I'm here. Step.
Well, it looks like they've been working on Baulen's killer instincts here. Tommy Gallagher said he had a hard time getting him to really open up on his opponent, and here he looks like he means business tonight. He doesn't want to just win. He wants to do some damage tonight. Look at that, putting a three-punch combination and getting out. This is what he got to do all night to win the fight.
Baulen in good shape, dancing away. We wind down towards the end of the second round. Right hand from Morrison.
Well, you know, Bill Caton, Tommy Morrison's manager, told me they might have made a mistake taking this fight because of the awkwardness of this southpaw.
And Yuri Baulen. Round three, it's scheduled for 10.
Well, the jab seems to be the deciding factor in this fight so far. Baulen landing 32% to Morrison's 9%. He's only thrown 22. He's been throwing wild and trying to headhunt, and it's not serving him very well in this fight.
And the longer Morrison goes, he treads into unfamiliar waters because most of his fights have ended in the first couple of rounds, Joe.
Especially his last few fights. He fought Bigland Thomas, knocked him out in one.
Quick
and
Tillis.
James Quick Tillis. What has he had? About 20 knockouts in his last 22 fights, I believe. And
all early. All in the first couple of rounds.
Well, Tommy Gallagher telling Vaulin to move, and the one time he didn't, he got caught with a left hook to the head. And that's what he's got to do, use that mobility and get out of the way of these big bombs.
You mentioned something that nobody knew, Joe, that Morrison has an injured right hand. Do you think that's telling a tale?
Well, you know, he did. He had a severely injured knuckle, and in confidence he showed it to me, and I didn't say anything before the fight, but now that it's going on, it won't make a bit of difference. But he really hasn't been throwing it that much, and I've seen him knock out quite a few guys with that right hand, but right now he's limited. He hasn't been throwing very much at all. It may be bothering him. You see, he didn't follow up with that left hook. He should have thrown that right uppercut right into the midsection after that. In fact, he doubled over in pain and fell to the canvas during sparring when he hit his sparring partner, Jerry Jones. Oh!
And Vaulin landed. He staggered Morrison. Morrison has never been down in his career, and he wobbled there.
He's got to stick to his game plan here, Vaulin. He shouldn't get overly confident because Tommy is still strong, even though he wobbled him.
But this is the point where Tommy Gallagher said Vaulin needed to go after him now. Don't let him off the hook.
Well,
don't let him back in the fight.
He's in, but he's holding on. He should stay to the outside. He's landing from the outside. Why quit there?
And he lands again with a left. Vaulin putting on a show in the third round.
Putting on a show and catapulting himself to the top of the heavyweight division if he takes out Morrison. He's rated in the top 10 in all three categories here.
And Morrison landed a left, but after paying the price.
Morrison cannot just be content to throw those punches and stop. He's got to throw those punches and step to the side. Get out of harm's way there. Don't be in line for a counter shot from Morrison.
No punch, no punch, no punch.
A strong round for the underdog, Yuri Vaulin, who's taken over control of this fight through three.
Here on the replay, you see Vaulin landing that jab, bingo, right on the button with that left hand, and then followed up with that right hook to the temple. And that'll do a lot of damage in itself. Here again, another angle of that. That left hook right on the chin, followed by a left and another left. A beautiful three-punch combination set up by the jab. It's the overhead shot. Steps in, right cross, left hand, right cross. It's amazing that Tommy Morrison really stood up to those three shots. That would have put any normal man down. Look at this. Turned his head completely around. Almost look at the same combination that Buster Douglas hit Mike Tyson with to put him out and down. He won't be able to take many more of those combinations if he doesn't do something to turn this tide in this fight.
Big third round for Yuri Vaulin. Let's see how Morrison can respond here in the fourth. Lunged with a right from long distance that the crowd reacted to.
Well, it hit Vaulin right on the chin, and well, he came right back with his own two punches, but it looked like it stunned him for a second.
Me, right? Come on.
You know, Vaulin told us yesterday that he depends on this right jab. That really is his bread and butter punch.
Come on, Yuri. Come on, Yuri.
Let it go! Get it up!
I'm here. Okay,
Come on, baby!
A left caught Vaulin going backwards.
no punch.
Vaulin has taken Tommy Morrison out of his game plan here. When Vaulin does get on the inside, he's allowing, when Morrison gets on the inside, he's allowing Vaulin to tie him up on the inside. He should forget about trying to push him off. He should be banging him to the body, trying to wear him down and slow him down. He isn't getting many opportunities to hit him. Should take advantage of it on the inside. Another 1-2 landed right on top of the head by Vaulin.
Punch out of there, Tom.
Referee Steve Smoger telling Tommy Morrison to punch his way out of there, out of the clinches. Morrison had said something to Smoger.
I'll let you work out of here. Go ahead.
That's the voice you hear.
don't punch, don't punch. Tommy, don't punch, Tommy.
And a left hand from Bauulin.
Your hands are loose, that's it.
Morrison finally going to the body. If he were doing that more consistently, it would definitely be taking the legs away from Bauulin.
That had been the game plan. They wanted Morrison to come in low to be explosive.
Don't punch, don't punch. All right, good. Break, don't punch.
Bauulin's corner is urging him to jab.
Come on. Yuri, stop falling. Yuri. Come on.
One at a time.
Don't punch, don't
The
punch.
pace has slowed down a lot here in this round, but they certainly expended a lot of energy in these first 4 rounds for heavyweights.
A lot more clutching and grabbing here in the 4th.
Oh, dynamite.
Bauulin with another fine combination.
I'll tell you what, Tommy Morrison is really unsteady on his feet. His ankles are turning. His legs look weak underneath him.
Bauulin certainly being very tactical tonight.
He certainly is. Tommy Gallagher in the corner told him to jab, move. He knows the other punches will follow. He just doesn't want him standing still until Tommy Morrison is almost out or completely tired. Because he's still dangerous.
Get off his neck, Yuri. No. Come on.
And now Morrison on the attack. Morrison missing wildly on that one, but for the first time, he stunned Bauulin.
Well, just like I said, he was still dangerous, and he's got him rocked. Let me tell you, and Gallagher was worried about that. Dynamite uppercut.
And the crowd clearly on Morrison's side, as you can tell, as he's come alive here in round number 5.
Well, this is something uncharacteristic of Bauulin, and that's slugging it out with a guy like Tommy Morrison. We haven't seen this in his previous fights.
Work out of it. You're loose.
It was Bauulin's fight through the first 4, and Morrison still tied with a big left hand.
I'm here.
And Bauulin's hurt.
Body shot. That's it. They may stop the fight here. Doesn't look like he can continue. He looks like that shot took everything out of him.
7, 8. Okay.
Gallagher telling him not to quit, and he doesn't. But he sure looked on the verge of it.
Break. Step.
Oh,
and Bauulin hurt again.
Turned his back. That's got to be it. A fighter turns his back. I can't believe that Smoger is actually letting him get away with this.
4.
That's it.
That's it. Tommy Morrison, who was in trouble and rocked in the 4th round but did not go down, ends it in the 5th.
Well, he finally decided his corner had to have told him to go back downstairs or finally go downstairs because he didn't do it in the first 4 rounds. And that's what turned the tide for him.
206 of the 5th. 206.
At 2:06 of the 5th round, that'll be the official time. And Tommy Morrison goes to 27-0.
206 of the 5th.
After Bauulin had really hurt Morrison in the 4th.
Stop the bullshit.
All right, this is round number 5 now as we take a look at the replay. Left to the head. Morrison jumping, strong, solid left. What a rocket. That's where he first got Bauulin in trouble. And it was the body shots which made him take the first count. And the second count was also from the body shot. And then the fight was stopped as well. But this is what started it. And this is the second time around. You see Vaulin immediately react and turn around. He had done it once early in the round, and here the second time. And referee Steve Smoger goes over and starts the count and eventually stopped it. Vaulin low. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted him to be low, explosive, work the body, and that's exactly what he did to take out Yuri Vaulin in the 5th round. Quite a performance by Tommy Morrison. So now he can look ahead, perhaps, to Ray Mercer in a battle of undefeated young heavyweights in August. Let's go to the official decision. Michael Buffer up in the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Steve Smoger stops this contest at 2 minutes and 6 seconds of the 5th round. The winner by TKO victory, his record now 27-0 with 23 KOs from Kansas City, Tommy the Duke Morrison. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the royal blue trunks and weighs in at an even 214 pounds from Midwest City, Oklahoma. His professional record, 77 victories, 59 KOs, 8 defeats, and 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, the very colorful Joey Wimpy Halstead. And his opponent across the ring in the blue corner, wearing the stars and stripes with black trim and weighing in at 223.5 pounds. Fighting out of Kansas City, he brings a professional record of 29 victories with 25 KOs. Only 1 defeat. Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy the Duke Morrison.
I take his robe off now. Okay, gentlemen, I'm giving you both your instructions in your respective dressing rooms. I want to reiterate. I want no late hit out, intentional late hit after the bell, no intentionally hitting the man while he's down, and obey my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you.
Somebody's going to have to take that bandana off sooner or later. Oh, there it is.
Nice look between the two boxers.
Yeah.
Total career rounds, and Halstead has lasted past the 6th round his career 27 times. Morrison has never fought that distance.
You know, with that record Halstead has, he really should be in the Boxing Hall of Fame.
All those wins, but all in Oklahoma.
Oh.
Morrison been under a sun lamp, and here's the bronze boxer here against Wimpy Halstead. But he's supposed to be training in the gym.
Equipped with sun lamp, masseuse, and facial therapist. But no, right here you can see Tommy Morrison starting out a lot slower than he did against Ray Mercer. By this time he had already thrown probably 15, 20 punches against Mercer. Here he's thrown 1 jab so far and landed a good solid one.
Stop the punching. Come on.
Morrison's people say what they're trying to get him to do is relax, not be too aggressive, but while you're relaxing, keep up the defense. That's the trick.
Come on, now hold the box out here. Box it out here. Okay, stop punching.
Well, it's the second time Halstead has really slipped underneath Morrison's left arm and hit him to the body pretty well, and that's a sign of his experience right there. He's gotten inside and landed a couple decent shots to Morrison's body.
Toby Gibson, an active referee thus far, a little over a minute gone in the initial round.
Okay, stop punching. Mix it up, come in and quit holding. Stop punching, stop punching.
Real sluggish start midway through the 1st round.
Nice left hook by Tommy Morrison, but Halstead put out his jab and really kind of stunned Morrison there for a second.
I think it was the jab that woke up Morrison.
That's right.
Morrison big swing and a miss, and then digs the right hand that Halstead claims was low.
Right, exactly. That did. It landed on the back of the gluteus maximus there, and Halstead complained.
Morrison with a strong right hand to the body, and now punching in the clinches.
Of course, Halstead punching to the back
mix it up
of,
inside and quit holding and wrestling. Let's go.
Punching to the back of Tommy Morrison's kidneys, which is an illegal punch there, getting him back for that low blow.
The story goes, and I don't know if it's true, that once in Bismarck, North Dakota, Wimpy Halstead swung and missed so bad that he came around and hit himself in the back of the head, and down he went. I find that a little bit far-fetched, but that's part of the lore and allure of Wimpy Halstead.
Of course, out of those 80-some-odd fights, Wimpy Halstead using all the dirty tricks, and he gave a little lace to the face of Tommy Morrison here.
Are you saying Halstead's a dirty fighter?
Well, I'm saying right now he's getting a little irritated, and he's getting Morrison back for that low blow. And so far, he's given him kidney punches and a lace to the face. And they just banged heads on the inside.
Watch the head, gentlemen. Watch the head.
This is just the first round.
Another big swing and a miss with the left hand. Fascinating first round. And apparently Halstead wants to stand.
That's right. He said, forget the rough housing. Just use your experience and try to outbox Tommy Morrison. And in a sense, Tommy Morrison has made a couple mistakes. Instead of using that jab, he's jumped in with a couple hooks and missed terribly with it. So he's really got to set up his punches with his jab.
There was another punch that strayed low at the belt line. Yeah, he's worked to keep him up.
That's right. Toby Gibson is right on top of that.
That right hand connected. Halstead was moving backwards at the time to the body.
Halstead a little busier in that first round. Threw 29 punches, landed 9 for 31%. Morrison 20 punches, landed 6 for 30%.
Boy, Morrison snapping Halstead's head back with the jabs. Then the left hook connect.
And he hurt him with that left hook, but that's what set it up with those 2 jabs, Len.
You heard the ooh from the crowd when the left hook of Tommy Morrison connected.
Let's go. Let him up.
Morrison firing the combination and complaining about the holding on.
Well, you got to figure Wimpy Halstead is still a little bit hurt, and he wants to try to tire Tommy Morrison out. No better way than hold and make Morrison grapple a little bit. But Morrison isn't grappling. He's just kind of dropping his, being very loose on the inside.
Another low right hand from Morrison midway through the second round. That right hook to the body is straying low from Tommy Morrison. Exchange of jabs.
Stop punching.
Toby Gibson, an active referee here this evening, through 2 rounds.
He's got close to 500 pounds of fighter in there, and he's really going to have his work cut out for him if this goes a few rounds.
Again, the crisp jab from Morrison, snapping the head back on Halstead before it set up a big left hook.
Stop punching. Stop punching. Let's go. Come on.
Well, it's been a cleaner round.
Well, Frank Newton, Halstead's trainer, really, Toby Gibson ought to give him a gold medal for that, because he made life for Toby Gibson a lot easier in the ring by telling him that.
Okay, no wrestling. Come on.
Inside of 30 seconds remaining in the second round. Another good combination from Tommy Morrison. And Halstead hangs on again, talking to him. They don't like each other.
He's gonna get a point. Let's go.
A warning for a point deduction if he continues to hold the way he has been. Round 3 of a 10-rounder. No title on the line here. Heavyweights, Wimpy Halstead in the blue, Tommy Morrison in the red, white, and blue, and black.
Okay, come on.
Halstead landed a jab to try to get something going. Another one from Wimpy Halstead. Morrison in a momentary relaxing mood. Well, that jab continues to snap that head of Wimpy Halstead. Strong weapon from Tommy Morrison tonight, the jab.
Of course, Wimpy Halstead's whole game plan in his training camp here is to extend Tommy Morrison late into the fight. They're hoping what occurred against Morrison will happen tonight. But at the rate of what Tommy Morrison is doing, he looks very good, and he does look like a more relaxed fighter in this fight.
And conversely, Morrison's people wouldn't mind a longer fight to dispel the myths and prove to Tommy that he can last longer in fights.
That's right.
So both of them are looking for a longer fight. Morrison again landing on Halstead.
But look at Halstead really maintained his balance and his composure. Of course, hitting Tommy Morrison to the back of the head. That's a rabbit punch, and he's getting warned for it.
Halstead with the showboat act with the right hand.
That's a little demoralizing. Morrison hit him with some great shots, and Halstead came back rough.
And the crowd now squarely on the side of Wimpy Halstead with a minute approaching in the third round. Crowd likes this guy.
Okay, stop punching.
Now let's see, Wimpy Halstead, what has he done tonight? Rabbit punched. Oh, another low blow by Morrison.
Last time, Tommy, keep him up.
Lacing and a forearm. He's really used every dirty trick in the book tonight.
And a warning from Tony Gibson on the low blow. Tommy Morrison again.
That's right. He hit him with the right uppercut, and it strayed very low, right on the between the hip and the thigh.
Inside of 30 seconds of round 3.
Okay, stop punching. Come on, come on, come on.
And a good exchange.
Stop punching.
Wimpy Halstead is a very awkward fighter, really. Well, we've got a timeout here. What's this for? We're taking a point away. I believe that point was taken away from Wimpy Halstead. Am I mistaken
for holding?
In saying that? I'm not exactly sure.
Clean up inside. Stop punching.
That's what his camp was talking about to us this morning. That's the fine line they're trying to dance. Less aggressive, but more defense. Many fighters, their best defense is their offense. Here we go in round 4. Well, and holding on again. You're already taken 1 point away from him.
We can add a headlock to the list of tactics that Wimpy Halstead has used tonight.
A 1-point deduction in the third round from Halstead for holding.
Stop punching, let's go, let him go.
And Halstead obviously concerned with the big left hook of Tommy Morrison because he's keeping that right hand planted right next to the side of his face when Morrison gets close enough within striking distance.
Okay, stop wrestling. Come on, come on, come on. Let's go, let him up.
Toby Gibson with his hands full again. Another point. One more time. Halstead's now lost 2 points.
Let him up.
And Halstead's talking to the referee, Toby Gibson.
Well, Wimpy Halstead, there's a late hit off of a break. But Wimpy Halstead feels that these points are being deducted unfairly. And, nice little left hook to the liver from Halstead. But if he gets warned 1 or 2 more times or another point, he could be disqualified in this fight. It wouldn't be beyond Toby Gibson to do it to him.
Stop punching, stop punching.
And Halstead again, while he's held with the left hand, is punching with the right. That's exactly what Toby Gibson's talking to him about. Good right hand from Tommy Morrison. Halstead shakes his head. So relaxation is one thing, Joe, but I'm looking for that big Tommy Morrison flourish, which we haven't seen at all.
Well, he's having a difficult time. Wimpy Halstead is mauling, he's mugging, he's doing every trick in the book, really, to try to throw off Tommy Morrison's game plan, and he's doing it quite well.
Halstead landing with the right hand, well, he holds with the left.
I mean, those are borderline rabbit punches that he's throwing, but it's a legal punch to throw those short chopping right hands to the side of the head, and they're irritating, if nothing else, on the inside.
Morrison sneaks in the left hand. Final seconds of the 4th round.
Morrison has really got to follow that jab and get off quick to the body once he gets on the inside. He's given Halstead a chance to grab onto him.
Stop punching. Let's go. Stop. Corner.
And that does it for the 4th round.
Well, Vergetz wants him to get off. Don't put his head inside first and then let Halstead maul him and pull his head down. He wants him to get inside and get off quickly before he gets a chance to grab on.
Good combination, and Halstead is down. And hurt.
5, 6, 7.
He's trying to shake his head off, and he's recuperating.
Give me your glove. You all right?
That's it. That's it.
And a good call from Toby Gibson. Good call.
Halstead said, "Where am I?" if I'm not mistaken. But he didn't wait for the pervert. Usually the question for the referee is, "Where are you?" He gave the answer before the question.
He said he was barely all right at answering to the question.
Was that what it was? Well, whatever the answer was, it wasn't the right one for Toby Gibson, and he stopped it, and probably deservingly so.
Well, did you see those feet come up on the knockdown?
Oh, man.
A good left-right combination from Tommy Morrison. Take a look at this.
Look, well, this was a devastating right hand, and it was one of the few punches that Morrison was able to land throughout the fight, and it was infrequently. Here we go. Slips, boom, right over the jab of Wimpy Halstead, and followed it with a nice short left uppercut that really snuck in there. And there
those
goes.
Feet go flying.
Boy. Eyes closed and glazed right there. Here we go again. Slips the jab right over the top.
Right,
got everything
and the
behind
left
it.
uppercut. Down he goes. At this point, I thought Halstead was really out of it. He tried to shake off the cobwebs. He sure shook his head from side to side, but the good safe stoppage by Toby Gibson.
When asked if he was already, said no, because I think Halstead's been around long enough to know that the end was imminent, really, at that point.
Well, but he's only 0-4 in Las Vegas.
Consistent.
Well, like many other people that come to this town, 0 for Vegas.
Including myself, and I'm going to go up into the ring right now and speak to Tommy Morrison.
So Morrison wanted to prove he would not run out of gas in the latter rounds, but again, a 5th round stoppage. That was the round that Mercer stopped him. So let's go up to Michael Buffer for the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Toby Gibson has decided that Jerry Wimpy Halstead was unable to continue after that knockdown. The official time, 30 seconds, that's 3-0, 30 seconds of the 5th round. The winner by TKO, his record now 30 victories, 25 KOs, Tommy the Duke Morrison. Fighting out of the blue corner, his opponent wearing the black trunks with stars and stripes trim, weighing 221 pounds, from Kansas City. He brings a professional record of 30 victories with 26 KOs against only 1 defeat. Introducing Tommy the Duke Morrison.
Mercer has. Now, Morrison, most of his power emanates from the left hook. We'll see if that weapon is a little easier to land against Odom.
Morrison working the jab and then a good left hand to the body, and Odom covers up.
For Tommy Morrison, of course, the work has been primarily on defense. They want to improve that as much as they can. They know he has the power. They want him to be loose in the ring. They felt he was too stiff against Ray Mercer ultimately, and that's why after he dealt out a lot of punishment to Mercer, he was ultimately knocked out. Morrison keeping his hands pretty low right now. This can Odom take advantage? Well, he does. He lands a good right hand.
Odom kept Morrison off of it that time. Morrison is just so much stronger, and I think that's the thing that Odom really has to be careful of.
Odom has fought a who's who of the heavyweights in the last couple of years, but has lost. He lost to Tony Tucker, knocked out in 2. Lost to Carl Williams, a decision in 10. Lost to Bone Crusher Smith, knocked out in 3. Lost to Pierre Coulter, lost to Razor Ruddock, lost to Ray Mercer. But before that, had only lost twice before in his career, once to Milton Bowen and once to Oliver McCall, while winning a series of fights.
And Oliver McCall was in his very first fight as a professional. And we have seen Oliver McCall on occasion jump up and be a pretty good fighter.
Yeah, so there was a point where Camille Odom, when he fought Mercer, when we had him, there was still the thinking that Camille Odom was a guy that could make some kind of waves in the heavyweight division. Then he became an opponent fighting very good heavyweights, but losing.
Good shot there, and that hurt Odom.
If you were going to get Odom out, I think you're going to do it more with the left hook than the right hand. He has an ability to elude the right hand. That's what bedeviled Ray Mercer, even though he certainly won the fight against Odom. This is a heavier Odom than we saw against Mercer.
That's what he said, 20 pounds heavier than his last fight. Incidentally, in his last fight, Tony Tucker broke Odom's nose. That was only a couple of months ago. We asked him if a nose will heal that quickly, and he said, oh yeah, no problem.
When he hit Wimpy Halstead with a left hook, that just one shot sent Halstead down. That was pretty much the end of the fight.
And he said Halstead, he knew that Halstead would make a mistake sooner or later and be there to be hit. And so was Tommy Morrison.
Big right hand by Morrison. Well, I keep talking about his left having power, but there is power in the right too.
Odom has thrown almost all those punches off his heels.
You know what's bad, though, so far for Morrison? And I know he's not going to like this when he sees the tape. Odom is able to land more counter punches as he's coming in. Now, part of it may be Morrison's thinking, well, he's not hurting me. Because part of the reason to get more rounds and get this bout in is so you can improve your skills, which Morrison has really been working on.
Huge left hook right there. And the other thing that Tommy Morrison has to think about is he's got some swelling and, in fact, has a little cut under his left eye on the cheek. And there's another big left hand that staggers Odom.
But Odom's landing right hands. And again, this is something that they really didn't want to have happen.
Yeah, what I was going to say, just to finish that thought, is I don't think that the cut or the swelling is any kind of a problem for Tommy Morrison tonight, but just the fact that he could be busted up has to be of some concern. Ray Mercer busted him up.
Yeah, after he had hurt Mercer badly. Now, I cling to the contention, had it been any other heavyweight in front of him practically in the world, the punches Morrison landed would have knocked him out. Mercer just didn't go, but still, you may not knock other guys out with those shots.
So there's some very loose ropes on the side of the ring that the fighters are at right now, too.
I'd hate to be the judge on that side.
Yeah, huge left hand. That buckled the knees also of Odom. This isn't going to go far, I promise. Right hand.
You know what Tommy Morrison has that gets overlooked sometimes? Quickness in his hands. He throws those punches fast. I'm not exactly sure.
Boy, I want to tell you, that's the way you draw it up. I mean, that just caved Camille Odom in.
Well, next up on the docket, we might as well talk about it. He's going to fight Art Tucker, then he's going to fight Joe Hip. More representative and tougher guys than Camille Odom. And we'll see if they will go down for the shots. But give Tommy Morrison credit. Left hooks. Look how quickly, even in slow motion, this punch comes. And that's where Tommy Morrison makes himself, in my opinion, an excellent fighter. It's short, it's compact, and it's quick. He has good technique. Tommy Morrison's technique on offense is good. That's a very good left hook.
I'll say.
You know what his left hook looks like to me? Odom landing almost 40%. They aren't going to like that when they see those numbers. They want body work from Morrison here. To go to the body and then come up there.
That's an uppercut by Odom.
He's landing shots. I mean, he's been hurt by what Morrison has thrown. But you can see he's counter. Oh, my.
Just a classic counter left. Came behind an uppercut that actually, I believe, got there from Odom.
Doctor's standing up on the side of the ring. They're not going to stop it, are they, right now? No. No way.
So the doctor standing up, the doctor can stop the fight.
Yeah, but you got to give Camille Odom a chance. He's been knocked out twice, but his eyes were clear and he's landing punches. Give the man an opportunity. Why you have 3 knockdowns?
Odom just has no leverage on his punches. He's throwing everything from a leaning backward position. I mentioned earlier off his heels, which indicates that he's got a great respect for Morrison's power, as well he should. Oh, big right hand. And that's it. This time it probably is well stopped.
Now it is well stopped.
I don't think anybody's going to question the power of Tommy Morrison.
Tommy Morrison, who would like to consider himself a top heavyweight, he probably is. Now the uppercut, Odom See, that's smart boxing, though. Odom throws the right uppercut, and Morrison immediately comes with the hook over it. That's good fundamental boxing by Morrison. It's not some lucky punch. There it is. And he did it again, didn't he? That's the second replay. For a second, I thought it was still the other one, Barry, because it was an uppercut by Odom. He didn't learn his lesson. Morrison landed the hook.
And I'd be willing to bet you that broke the nose of Odom again. You can just tell when a fighter is in pain. Watch the right hand.
And I think that's why he didn't complain.
Exactly.
Yes. That's exactly, I think you're exactly right.
For Tommy the Duke Morrison.
Well, Tommy Morrison is an impressive winner, and he will take...
Joe Hipp, you will see, is 6 years older than Tommy Morrison, but that 223 pounds, Alex, as I said, the lightest Hipp has ever fought.
Yeah, and Joe says he didn't diet then, although we all know how successful diets can be, some diets, but he says he got the weight off by working it off, and it makes him as confident as he's ever been.
It's a feeling out process here. These are two fighters that predominantly like to fight straight ahead.
One thing about Joe Hipp, as you see right away, he is a southpaw, very rare in the heavyweight division. Tommy Morrison had a lot of trouble with the southpaw, a Soviet southpaw. Came back to knock him out, but was behind on all cards when he did. That was a different style southpaw. That was a cutie. Joe Hipp is anything but a cutie. And even at 223, Joe Hipp is not going to be a twinkle toes out there.
You're referring to Yuri Volin, who he fought back in April of 1991. That was actually on the Holyfield Foreman undercard.
Good body punch by Morrison. The left hook up top is his best punch, but his body punch is also, when he uses it, a telling punch, and especially you would want to test somebody who looks as soft around the middle as Joe Hipp.
Well, Tommy Morrison, as we're well aware, has been hit before, but when his punches land, they just sound different than most fighters. He is just an impact puncher.
And the other thing, Dan, is everybody points out, well, he's had 32, has-beens and never was for opponents except for Mercer. And he knocked 28 of them out, big deal. But the fact is how he moved them. What happened when he hit him? He just explodes when he lands.
Right uppercut went right between the gloves of Hipp and almost connected. Both of those blows by Hipp landed on Morrison's gloves.
Already you see a little swelling on Joe Hipp. And he just got hit with a Tommy Morrison jab. That is not a good sign. Because
well, look where he's got his gloves, Alex, below his chin.
Right, and especially the right.
And he doesn't have the hand speed to pick off those jabs.
Right.
Oh, another jab lands by Morrison.
Tommy said he has to learn how to not rely exclusively on his power. It might work for him at the lower levels of boxing, well, not at the top. There's the hook.
A good sweeping left hook. A slow right hand by Joe Hipp allowed that one to come over the top, and you saw it landed flush.
Might have noticed the knee brace on Joe's right knee. That is not any current injury. It was an old football injury that he just wears it just to prevent further injuries.
He said he never even had an operation. It's just more psychological than anything else. Tommy Morrison did tire badly in the Mercer fight, although you get the impression that it wasn't so much from lack of conditioning. He's a tense fighter, Alex. He just is one of those people that every punch he seems to throw like it's his last.
Well, he says, Dan, that it was the stress of hitting Mercer with some of the best punches he ever threw and seeing Mercer still standing there that he panicked. And that happens to a lot of fighters. I think Mike Tyson admitted it happened to him against Quick Tillis the first time he had to go the distance. But the fact of the matter is, I think also that Ray Mercer started to punch back in that fourth round, and I think those punches might have had more effect on Tommy than Tommy's admitted to us and even to himself.
We're inside the final 10 seconds here in the first round. This fight is scheduled for 10. Tommy Morrison and Joe Hipp, stay with us. The bell rings and away we go in the second round here at Bally's in Reno. That's Tommy Morrison on the left of your screen, circling to the top.
And another nice jab from Morrison. I mean, that's a punch. He wants to prove to himself that he can be a boxer, that he can be more than just a one-dimensional fighter.
And Joe Hipp is eating it with regularity.
Yeah, Joe's available for the punch. I think I keep throwing it too.
Again, Morrison scores with the jab.
And Joe swelling, especially in the right eye, which is real dangerous because that's
a spectacular combination by Morrison. A pair of jabs and then a right. And for some reason, Joe Hipp is carrying his gloves low and is just, as Alex said, making himself available.
We talked to Joe about, Joe, how are you going to avoid Morrison's power? And he says, I got to block it. I got to keep my right hand up to avoid the left. He just hasn't done it.
No, from a hand speed survey of what we've seen here as we move into the second round here. It's clearly Tommy Morrison who's the possessor of the quicker hands.
Quicker hands, more power. The only question about Tommy, as we said, if he doesn't, if Joe stands up as he's doing now, and if Joe doesn't puff up so much that the doctor or the referee have to stop the fight, will Tommy be able to keep this pace up? Right now, it's a very measured pace. He's not exerting himself. He's not going wild. First backward step that Tommy Morrison has taken.
Here in the second round, we have less than 1:30 remaining on the Russ Tough clock. Second round here between Tommy Morrison and Joe Hip.
Joe Hip just kind of fell into a right to the body there. He came inside with a scoring left hand and got out of the way of Tommy Morrison's punch coming back, which he hasn't done much of.
There's Tommy Burgetts in the corner, who is the trainer of Tommy Morrison, co-trainer along with John Brown
and a conditioning expert.
Yes.
Somebody who's worked very hard to get Tommy in condition, mentally and physically. And obviously after a loss like the Mercer loss, the mental part is perhaps even more important. Hip a little bit more active here. Not as much coming back from Tommy Morrison. Awkward right hand by Hip.
Yeah, he tried to get inside after Morrison had sailed over the top.
One thing that you notice with Joe Hip, when he does jab, which isn't often, but when he does, he brings his jab back low, and that's just suicidal against the Tommy Morrison. You saw Joe Hip look over at the referee. Like, hey, pal, I'm in here trying to get the job done. Don't bother me.
Well, with that left hand of Hip as it came in, just a ponderous swing. Tommy Morrison under control and very measured here as we come to the end of the second round. Joe Hip is already starting to show the outward signs of being in a heavyweight fight. Tommy Morrison is unscathed for a good reason. Joe Hip has really not landed a good solid punch effectively the entire fight yet. As we move now into the start of round number 3. The jab of Morrison has been very successful. We're here at 4,500 feet roughly in elevation here in Reno, and Tommy Morrison, for one, changed his training. He went to Colorado Springs to the Air Force Academy. Normally he trains at Virginia Military Institute at a lower altitude. Good work inside here by the two fighters. But Bill Caton, the manager of Tommy Morrison, was very upset with Morrison for training in Kansas City for the Ray Mercer fight. Alex thought there were far too many distractions.
Yeah, Tommy admits now that he's going to fight camp, which he never did before, that Caton was right. That's all part of the way that Tommy Morrison has reacted to the loss. I mean, do you learn from it? Do you get better? Good left and a right downstairs by Morrison.
Morrison is throwing in combination. He's following that jab up, which is what you have to do.
One thing you have to say, although Joe Hip is puffing up, Dan, we're in round 3, and he hasn't looked close to being hurt. I thought the best punch, there you see Pete Roybal, his trainer. I thought the worst Joe looked was when Tommy scored a solid punch to his belly. He seemed to double over. And,
in the first round,
right,
at the beginning
and Tommy really has not gone back to that.
Well, swelling and bleeding is nothing new to Joe Hip. He does it with regularity. So maybe we're more concerned about it than is he.
Yeah, but the time Joe had a shot at a big fight against Bert Cooper, that was really decisive. He was in the fight, but his eyes just closed shut, so shut that they had to stop the fight in a TKO in the 5th round.
We want to remind our local ABC stations that at the end of this round, we're going to take a station break. That, by the way, the Bert Cooper fight, the same night that Tommy Morrison was knocked out by Ray Mercer.
Good thumping body punch by Joe Hip there. See Joe trying to counter.
A sweeping
backing
move
up, giving ground.
You know, that move by Morrison, Alex, took him off balance, and Hip was too slow to take advantage of it.
A feint there, kind of an awkward feint, but you saw one good thing. There's a good sign. Tommy Morrison had his right up to pick off the Joe Hip left hand coming out of the break. Never back straight out with your hands down. Tommy backed straight out, but he had one hand up.
This is the end of the third round. We'll return with more of ABC's Wide World of Sports after this word from our ABC stations. We begin the fourth round here in Reno, Nevada. I'm Dan Deerdorf along with Alex Swallow. We're ringside for a 10-round heavyweight fight between Tommy Morrison, who's on the left of your screen, and Joe Hipp to the right.
And for the first time in the fight, a little blood was drawn, and interestingly, it was on Tommy Morrison, under his left eye.
We're in the fourth round, as I said. The first 3 rounds, not totally dominated by Morrison in the sense that he hurt Joe Hipp, but I think, Alex, obviously winners on the scorecard for Morrison.
That's right. I think that's exactly right.
Joe Hipp was born in Browning, Montana, grew up in Yakima, Washington, and there's his wife, Barbara. And
Barbara knows how important this fight is also.
We won't be hearing many pro-Morrison quips from Barbara today. It is hard not to like the Hipps. Good, solid people.
Joe Hipp is as likable a guy as there is in boxing. Soft-spoken, just a terrific guy.
And I'm wondering why we bothered to put a microphone on Barbara. We could hear her without it. Joe Hipp from a hand speed category is several notches below Tommy Morrison, but he's game.
But now he's also, as opposed to the early rounds, he's backing Tommy Morrison up. He's coming forward very, very slowly, but he is coming forward. Whether that's just Tommy Morrison wanting to draw him onto his punch, we'll find out. The key thing, I think, Dan, is that Tommy has not been dominant, as you pointed out. He has not exhibited. He's shown some of his punches, but they haven't had the effect they've had on some of the lesser opponents.
So Joe Hipp score a good left to the midsection of Morrison. Again, a reminder, if you just joined us, that Joe Hipp is a southpaw fighter, only the second that Morrison has faced professionally. And of course, facing a right-hander is nothing new. Hey, there's a good combination by Joe Hipp.
The best sequence in the fight for Joe Hipp.
And the left landed right on Morrison's chin.
45 seconds to go in round 4, and now you have to have questions about Tommy Morrison's step. He's hurt.
Another left hand by Hipp.
And he responded with a big left.
He sure did. You saw Morrison come in with it. And to say the tempo is picked up would be an understatement. But Joe Hipp, you can see it in his eyes.
And a big cut on the right eye of Tommy Morrison.
Senses that he has hurt Morrison, and Alex is right. Look at the blood come down the right cheek of Morrison from his right eyebrow. Well, things have become interesting here in the closing moments of the fourth round.
Tommy Morrison holding on, trying to recover.
The end of the fourth, we are scheduled for 10, and this thing just got fun. The medical report card on Morrison, he has a mouse under his left eye, but a cut over his right eye on the outside of the eyebrow.
And more important than the cut was how vulnerable he looked to a guy in Joe Hipp who really, as big as he is not a power puncher, Dan. He's really kind of an arm puncher.
Oh, a great uppercut by Morrison.
And the first one we've seen.
Oh, and a right to the chin puts Joe Hipp down. Hipp is up, beats the count. Draculich asking him if he can go on. That was a good, solid right uppercut, and then a right to the chin by Morrison.
From a man who's supposed to be
a right hand by Hipp, Alex.
From somebody who's supposed to be a left hooker. He's using his right hand better than we've seen.
We're in the fifth round, a little over 2 minutes.
And you notice Joe Hipp is not holding on. And he really hasn't gone in the survival mode. I mean, he kind of looks like a guy who's looking to throw punches back. He's busted up in the mouth.
Yep, Hipp bleeding from the mouth. Oh, and Tommy Morrison, a double right hand. And Joe Hipp better protect himself.
Now we'll see if Tommy Morrison can finish him. If he's got enough left. He looked tired in the fourth. Another half hook, half uppercut with the right hand by Tommy Morrison.
And Hipp better put himself, Alex, in more of a defensive mode. As you say, either by hanging on. And Tommy Morrison, a double right hand. You see Hipp look over at Draculich, and I don't know why.
I think he might have thought the punch went around a little bit in the back of him. Rabbit punch, maybe. Joe's looking for anything right now. He's looking for a bell, and he's got a minute 20 till he gets there, and his mouth is open. He is a brave, game fighter, Joe Hip.
And Tommy Morrison is becoming more deliberate here.
Yes, and this is interesting. He's taking his time because I think he remembers back to the Mercer fight when he had Mercer hurt and punched himself out. He is clearly pacing himself.
And that was a scoring left hand by Hip. Ooh, and an off-balance combination by Hip that does nothing. Inside a minute remaining here in the 5th. And I wasn't sure we were going to get to this point. Morrison knocked down Hip in the early stages of this round, and it almost looked like Hip wasn't going to beat the count, but he did. Alex, can Morrison be deliberate to a fault?
Well, you know, he knows his body a lot better than we do, and he might sense that he was getting real tired. I mean, he expended a lot of energy, and he may be right. He may be exhausted right now and looking to let his tank fill up a little bit. It's a great thing for Joe Hip, allowed him to survive this round, and it looked for a moment like there's no way he could.
This fight is scheduled for 10. This is the halfway mark.
Knocked down in round 5. Watch the right hand from Morrison. Shows the left, and then boom, like almost a right hook. It was not a straight right hand. It put Joe Hip down.
But the scoring uppercut by Morrison just prior to that is what really softened up Joe Hip, who is bleeding a great deal from the mouth. And Alex and I were both talking to each other during that commercial break about the admiration we have for Joe Hip. It would have been easy to not get up, Alex, after being knocked down.
You know, he's a game guy. He knows this is a huge fight for him. If he can somehow get in the late round, somehow have Tommy Morrison just faint from exhaustion, I mean, it just changed his whole life. And he's fighting as though it depended upon it.
Good left hand by Joe Hip.
One interesting thing, Dan, Tommy Morrison has never scored a knockout past this point in round 6. He was knocked out, but he's never scored one after the 6th round. I'm sorry, after the 5th round.
I was going to say, he's never gone beyond the 6th round.
That's right.
As hard as that is to believe for a man who has had 33 professional fights, Tommy Morrison has never seen the 7th round of a professional fight.
Scoring left hand from Joe Hip there. Not much coming back from Tommy Morrison. He is clearly, another left hand from Joe Hip.
Boy, and that one was right there. And you can see it has backed up Morrison. Oh, and another good combination and a retaliation by Morrison. But a good pair of punches by Joe Hip. And I'm sure Tommy Morrison right now is thinking to himself, my life would be a lot simpler if this man would have stayed down after I put him down.
This is Tommy Morrison at this point. Could change any moment. At this point, he's in a survival mode. His mouth is open. He is very tired, and he's waiting for a second win.
Well, he won't get a break for a minute. 1 minute remaining here in the 6th.
Oh, those combinations that he just tried and fell short were pathetic. I mean, he was just pushing him. Look, there's no snap. There's nothing on his punches at all. We're just past the halfway point in this fight. And the power that Tommy Morrison has in the early rounds, he has not, at this stage, been able to carry here into round 6. But Joe Hip knows, and we should know, that it can come back in a flash at any moment.
Joe Hip has been the aggressor here in the 6th. He has apparently stemmed that flow of blood from his mouth. There's a good right hand by Morrison, but while it scored, it didn't look to do much damage. Facially, Joe Hip really doesn't look much the worse for wear, Alex, and he did say after the 3rd round, although there is some noticeable swelling in that right eyelid. Here we come to the end of round number 6.
I'm going to give that round to Hip. He's ever going into round 7.
Yep.
Hip's gone to 10 twice.
Joe Hip has fought into the 10th round on 2 separate occasions. Tommy Morrison is on ground where he has never been before. In the 7th round of a professional fight. And he looked spent at the end of the 6th. He opens up the 7th here with crisper punches.
I'm amazed at Tommy. I mean, I don't know if anything's wrong with his left hand. He has not really scored with that left hook. He's used the jab, The left hook just has not been a factor.
And remember that early in his career, he was just a one-punch fighter, and it was the left hook. It was devastating.
And really a thing of beauty, just a natural hook. He just hasn't thrown it. And Joe Hip is inviting. I mean, the right hand's down.
I don't know what Joe Hip is thinking with his arms that low.
That's good hips, Tom. Keep
Unless
the
he
hips
is
long.
taking a Rocky Balboa strategy and saying, hit me. I'm not sure you have enough to take me out, but it didn't look that way in the 5th when he was on the seat of his pants.
Clearly, Sylvester Stallone and Joe Hip have different personal trainers, but at least they were both, Rocky Balboa and Joe Hip were both southpaws, so there are some similarities.
That's right. Again, a reminder that knee brace on the right leg of Joe Hip is nothing current. It just goes back to his high school football days, and he really wears it more for comfort than anything else.
Again, Hip coming forward. Morrison not throwing many meaningful punches. One right hand at the opening bell that really was hard, but look there. I mean, that's just, he's not planning himself. He's bouncing and trying to punch at the same time. Good right hand there.
Yeah, a good right hand counter by Morrison. And Joe Hip, his right eye is definitely starting to swell to the point where I'm not sure if it's impairing his vision. It's safe to say it's not helping his vision any. And of course, that's from whence the left jab comes, that jab of Morrison's that he scored easily with and often with early in the fight. Inside a minute here in the 7th.
I mean, based upon Tommy Morrison's record, especially with Mercer, you'd have to say that, you know, the big thing is it appears the problem is good combination by Hip. You have to say Morrison's biggest problem is stamina, his endurance, but also in his record is difficulty with one southpaw, and it could be that Tommy's just having trouble solving the southpaw stance. But we have to point out, I mean, Joe Hip is just standing right in front of him. I mean, it's just, and he's not a defensive fighter, clearly. It's just hard to believe that a guy who is as stationary and as slow and as right in front of you as Joe Hip is could give Tommy Morrison this much difficulty simply by standing up to his power.
Well, Tommy Morrison told us that he's always been a straight-ahead fighter. It's the only way he knows how to fight. He said, I need to work on fighting moving backwards. Well, he is certainly getting that work here in the last several rounds, because Joe Hip has got Tommy Morrison on his heels and moving backwards here at the end of the 7th. Welcome back to Reno. We move now into the 8th round in this fight between Tommy Morrison there on your left, Joe Hip on your right. And remember, this is scheduled for 10, not 12 rounds. This is a 10-round bout. And Alex, right now, I would love to have a peek at the judges' scorecards.
Yeah, well, I can't do that, Dan, but I'll give you a peek at my scorecard. I've got Tommy Morrison ahead by 2 points. I gave him the first 3 rounds, Hip the 4th, Morrison a 2-point 5th round, 10-8, and Joe Hip the 6th and the 7th, the last 2 rounds.
That's exactly the way I see it.
So Morrison's ahead, but the trend right now is to Joe Hip. And Tommy Morrison has to find a way to win a round or 2 to make sure he wins this decision.
And the trend of the last couple rounds continues with Joe Hip being the stalker. Now, certainly Tommy Morrison, we're not implying that he's finished or anything like that, but this is a different stance that Morrison has used in the past. And of course, again, we have to remind you that every minute that goes by is a minute in a professional fight that he has not seen.
Tommy Morrison is used to being the stalker. Right now, Tommy Morrison is being stalked. He is trying to survive.
To give you an illustration.
Good uppercut by Joe Hip.
A good uppercut by Hip. A reminder here, you know, in the last 3 years, Tommy Morrison has fought 12 fights, a total of 33 rounds. That's less than 3 rounds per fight. We'd like to remind our local ABC stations that at the end of this round, we will be taking a station break.
Joe Hip doing all the work. Good scoring response there by Morrison.
And really, you wonder how many of those would be picked off if Joe Hip would only carry his gloves a little higher, because he does not have the hand speed to pick off that jab. And you can see that Morrison just reacting to hip throwing the right by coming right back with the left.
Good solid.
Good right hand to the ribs.
And
there was a good scoring combination by Joe Hip.
And a good elbow to the throat by Joe Hip.
He was a football player.
Forearm shiver. Oh, you saw there how awkward and really unpolished a fighter Joe is. I mean, is he just kind of plotted in and missed the right hand. Missed that. But the fact of the matter is, Joe Hipp right now is a fresher fighter, and that really is the story of the fight. And it looks like, based upon this round and the last two before it, that unless Tommy Morrison does get a second or third win or whatever he's looking for, that Joe Hipp can just walk into him, as limited as Joe Hipp is, and just on the basis of superior endurance, can win this fight. We should point out also, Joe Hipp is an 11-1 underdog.
We'll return with more of ABC's Wide World of Sports after a word from our ABC stations. The beginning of the 9th round of a fight scheduled for 10. There is Joe Hipp on the right of your screen, Tommy Morrison on the left. Our unofficial scorecards here at ringside have this a 1-point fight in favor of Morrison. And of course, Joe Hipp, an American Indian born in Browning, Montana. His mother, a member of the Blackfeet, and what a sense of pride must be moving through the reservation where Joe was born. Grew up in Yakima, Washington. Lives now outside Seattle, and he is on the verge of possibly doing something that not many people gave him credit or having a chance, Alex. He went off here today at revolving around a 10-1 underdog in this fight against Tommy Morrison.
I think the final price was 11-1. He is a very live underdog.
Yes.
And he was not, he said, I mean, you never know, Joe said, I don't mind being an underdog. I was an underdog through all my early fights. When people just looked at me and said, this guy doesn't look like a fighter. Joe said, no one who ever fought me said afterwards that I wasn't a fighter.
There has to be concern in the corner of Tommy Morrison. There's John Brown, his co-manager and trainer, and yes, that is a concerned look. And you see Joe Hipp scored with an uppercut, and Morrison came back with a left. But this crowd here in Reno has definitely swung over Joe Hipp in favor of Hipp, and again, Alex, he scores.
They're jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah. Well, on our scorecards, Alex, if one of these fighters wins the 9th and wins the 10th, on our card, he'll win the fight. Again, a reminder that we are not the official scorers. There are 3 of them here at ringside. Scoring is on the 10-point must.
All Joe Hipp right now, pretty much all the scoring.
Four minutes of boxing left. This is the final minute of the 9th.
Wide open the mouth of Tommy Morrison, absolutely exhausted. Nothing but that jab. That, I mean, you know, he is got a little bit of snap in the jab, but that's just not enough to keep Joe Hipp off him. And now Morrison's cutting the mouth.
Blood from the mouth of Morrison.
From that mouth that's been wide open for so long,
and that's
he's all busted up.
And that's how it gets cut. You can't fight with your mouth open. Oh, a good right hand by Morrison, and that hurts Joe Hipp. Joe Hipp is in trouble. Joe Hipp is down. A right hand from Tommy Morrison staggers Joe Hipp. He's up at 8, and that's the end of the fight. Vic Draculich stops the fight. And Tommy Morrison summons the power today, and it saves him in the 9th round. Joe Hipp got up right at the count of 10, and Joe Hipp got up right at the count of 10, and Vic Draculich did not even determine whether or not he thought he could go on. He didn't beat the count, and the fight was stopped.
You hear some boos as Tommy Morrison takes his bow. 2:47, the official time of round number 9, and I promise you that I will get the scorecards to let you know if Tommy Morrison needed that knockout to win this fight.
Yeah, wouldn't we all like to know? Tommy Morrison into the rounds where he had never been before.
And a heartbroken Joe Hipp.
Yes. Here it is, Alex.
The full angle. The left missed. The right hand landed. And that right hand really hurt Joe Hipp, much more than it looked.
Yep. You saw
left
his legs just
and another
stiff.
right. Boy, the right hand doing almost all the damage. That uppercut missed, but Joe was just not in a position to defend himself and went down.
Alex, I'm not sure he would have survived the first right hand. Watch the right hand. Here, next punch. Right there.
Boom.
I don't think Joe Hipp, I don't think he would have recovered.
chopping punch. Let me just go through the scorecards that we have right here. Official scorecards. Keith McDonald had it 76-75 Morrison. Doug Tucker, 76-75 hip. Herb Santos, 76-75 hip. I'm sorry, Morrison. The fight's still up for grabs. 2 judges with Morrison ahead by a point, 1 judge with hip ahead by a point.
As you can see, it was a devastating right uppercut from Tommy Morrison at 2:47 of the 9th round. We'll be back here to Reno, hopefully to talk to both fighters.